If you are looking for creative ways to keep your craft room organized, you have popped into the right video. In one of my more recent videos, I shared with you my favorite Dollar Tree craft room organization hacks and tricks. But Dollar Tree isn't the only place to find affordable storage solutions. I have found some really fantastic items on Amazon, and I want to share those with you right now. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you is a shelf for a Cricut machine. You don't necessarily have to use a shelf if you have a Cricut machine. Sometimes, depending on where your craft room is or how you keep things, you may not have a lot of space to keep your Cricut machine and everything that goes along with it. But I found this really awesome shelf on Amazon and it fits my machine perfectly. So I have the Cricut Maker and I love this. There's so many different things that I can do with this machine, but my craft room isn't huge. So I like to find ways to utilize the space to the best of my ability. And this shelf is one of the ways that I've been able to do this. So not only does it elevate my machine, but it also has 6 different shelves that I can keep things in. So I have my vinyl, I have different vinyl pieces that I've already cut out that I need to work on. I have some different scrapbooking paper, and I even have some vinyl for upcoming projects. And this shelf is probably one of the neatest things that I found on Amazon recently. And when I started looking for different ways to store my Cricut, I just typed in Cricut Shelf and I got lots of different results, but this is actually meant for a printer. So if you don't like this option, you can go on Amazon and look at different printer shelves or maybe even a printer cart to organize your supplies. Now, it may be a little bit challenging to see, but if you have a lot of ribbon, storing your ribbon can be challenging. A lot of these things can be challenging, honestly. But I found this behind the door or over the door storage rack that works perfectly for storing ribbon. I can store so many different types of ribbon on this rack, and what I really like about it is it gives you the option. You can put it on the back of a door, or you can do what I did and attach it to the wall. This way I'm able to easily see and access all of the different ribbons that I have. And this has by far been the absolute best way that I've found personally to keep lots of different ribbon in place. The one caveat to that is if you have a lot of ribbon and you need to use it, I would highly encourage you, once you're done with using that ribbon, to put it back on the shelf. If you don't put it on the shelf and it just sits on your craft table, you're going to end up with a mess. And one of my favorite things to say is everything has a home. So everything in my craft room has a home. This is the home for my ribbon. Now this is my craft desk and I love this craft desk. My husband and I actually made this a couple of years ago when I was going to be able to utilize this room as my craft room. And I was able to make my craft desk using cubes. So these storage cubes, these are so wonderful. And for this craft desk, I used 3 sets of cubes. So on either end, I have a set of cubes, and then also on the back, I have a set of cubes. And I've actually seen different desks like this on Etsy that sell for over $2,000. I think I was able to make my desk for less than $250, which isn't bad considering everything that I did to it. I did have a different top on my craft table and it's still there, but I wanted to add something to make it a little bit taller. And I found this really pretty tabletop. It's made from reclaimed wood. And for me, I just like the aesthetic of it and I like the wood. So I did add on a new tabletop to my desk, which makes me love my craft table even more. Now, at one time when I was reorganizing my craft room, I thought I wanted a dream box. I don't know if you've seen a dream box, but they're pretty fancy. They're also very expensive. So instead of going the expensive route, I went the more practical and affordable route, and I got these bookcases. These bookcases are so easy to put together. They're super sturdy, very nice, and the shelves, you can move them around to configure however you want them to be. But I love having these shelves. No, they don't close like the Dream Box does, but I think it looks really nice and it provides a lot of storage. Now, I don't know if you can see this behind me or not, but back over in the corner, this is where I keep all of my paints. I use a lot of different acrylic paints in all of the crafting that I do, and I was looking for a way to create a lot of storage space for very small items. And I found these acrylic nail polish holders on Amazon, and these are perfect. So what I did was literally just put them up on the wall, super easy to put up. And now I have space for a lot of paints, as you can see. Yes, I do have a lot of acrylic paint, and yes, I do use them. But being able to see what paints I have, how much I have of each of the paints makes a huge difference, not only for my organization, but if you have a lot of paints and you need to know how much you have, this is a great solution to make it easy to find your paints and keep everything in one place. And something else that I made out of things that I actually got at the Dollar Tree and on Amazon is this rotating paint stand. So in the past, I've made different DIY paint holders, which work really well, but I wanted something more vertical, so it's going to take up less space on my desktop. And the main part of this Lazy Susan paint holder is the paint holder itself. And the paint holder actually holds 72 bottles of paint. That is a lot of paint, and I can keep all of these on my craft desk, so when I'm working on a project, I have easy access to whatever color I need. And to make this paint holder be a Lazy Susan, we had a Lazy Susan base that I glued to the bottom of it. I used a Dollar Tree charger on the top, and I also put a Dollar Tree paintbrush holder on the top. This gives me more space with the charger to hold different things that I may need for my projects, as well as a place to keep all my paintbrushes. This paint holder was a really good investment. Now in my Dollar Tree craft room organization video, I showed how I used dish racks or plate racks to store different things like blanks and stuff. But in that video, I also shared with you that I had been searching for those forever. I couldn't find them at Dollar Tree, so I went the more expensive route and I got a lid holder on Amazon, which was the first rack that I had like this. And I used this to hold all of the Dollar Tree blanks, so the signs and different things depending on the season. That's what I store in here. It takes up a lot less space than if I'm going to be putting nails into my walls. Yes, I do still have nails that I put in my walls, and I keep different blanks on the walls too. But having this lid holder, it has helped so much. So I can keep the taller pieces together, and then I can easily find what I want when I'm getting ready to craft. Now, I've recently added scrapbooking or scrapbooking paper type crafts to the crafts that I do. And one thing I was having an issue with was all of the little ephemera. I think that's how you say it, ephemera, I don't know. But all of the little extra embellishments, I was having issues of how to store these so I could quickly go through them. Smaller stencils and clear stamps, I was having issues with that as well. And I found these organizers on Amazon, and they have been so helpful. I can store lots of different things: stickers, stencils, clear stamps. Everything has a home, just like everything in my craft room has a home. So I really like these. They're very helpful, and they have a carrying handle. So if I wanted to craft in a different area of my home, then I can easily pick it up and carry it with me and take it to wherever I'm going to be crafting. Now, I'm a huge fan of using rolling carts in my craft room. I actually have two. I have a larger one that has 4 different storage compartments, and this is a larger one. It's almost the same height as my crafting table. And then on the other side, I have my smaller rolling cart. Now, this is the one you're probably more familiar with. A lot of crafters use these, but the one thing that I do utilize on my smaller rolling cart is these little bins that you can buy. They're extra. So I took extra bins and I put those on the sides of my rolling cart. This way I can have different things like my paintbrushes, my glue sticks, my specialty glue sticks, things like that. I can have these close at hand so that when I'm crafting, I can easily access all of these different tools that I use for my crafting. The 3 bins are very helpful. I have to say I probably utilize the top bin the most. Not only do I use it for my paintbrushes and stuff on the side, but I also put acrylic holders. These are acrylic bathroom holders that I got at Dollar Tree. I put those in the top section because they have that rotating bottom. I can spin them around and get what I need. I like to keep glues close by in this area, craft sticks, markers, pretty much anything small I keep up on the top so that it's close. I even use the top bar like a towel hanger. I like to have a towel close by so I can clean off my workspace. Then I can just hang it over the side, the bar, and it can dry out. Now, if you like to make wreaths, you know you probably need to have a lot of wreath forms. And I found these hat racks on Amazon. They come in a pack of 4. They're less than $12. And these are so helpful for keeping lots of wreath forms in one place. They do have a self-adhesive back, which is kind of like silicone, I think, and they also have a screw that comes with it. They're very easy to put up. They do hold a lot of weight, even if you don't secure the screw into, say, a stud, if you're hanging it in the wall. I'm pretty sure I got mine just into the drywall, but they're holding up just fine. Something else that's really helpful in the craft room, you probably wouldn't think of this, but a skirt hanger. This is so helpful for holding lots of different materials. So you take the material, unfold it a little bit, and then you just use the clips and you can hang it up. I can hold a lot of different materials on this skirt hanger. It is so helpful, and it may not look the best because of where I have it hanging, but for me it works really well because I can see the fabrics that I have. Now, one thing that I have struggled with in my craft room is storage space, and I want to utilize this space to the best of my ability. The one area I wasn't utilizing was the upper portion of the closet. So at one time, this was my daughter's bedroom, but once all of our kids moved out, this room ended up being kind of a catch-all. And then I asked my husband what he thought about me making it into a craft room, and he said, "That's a great idea." Probably has something to do with the fact that I could put all of my crafting stuff in one space instead of having it all throughout the house or all over our dining room table. So as this is a bedroom, the top portion of the closet, I was putting stuff up there, but I wasn't utilizing it to the best that I could. One way to solve that was I bought these really affordable shoe racks. And these have been a game changer of where I store all of the glassware that I find either at the Dollar Tree, thrift stores, or wherever I find it. But I can easily stack and store a lot more things in this space because of these shoe racks. This is a much more affordable option than if you were to, say, go build some custom shelves in the top of a closet. But if you want to go that way, by all means, you can do that too. Now, because I've been getting more into scrapbooking and vinyl type crafts, I wanted to have some place to store all of the scrapbooking paper. At first, my shelves were working great, but it made it really hard to go through all of the paper that I had and find what I wanted to work on. But then I found these bins, and they have been so helpful. They come with the shelf dividers, so you can actually change the height of each of the shelves if you wanted to do something like that. I got two of them and they fit pretty well onto my bookshelf. They do poke out a little bit, but they're heavy enough that they don't go anywhere. And then when I'm sitting at my craft table and working, I can just spin my chair around and reach to the back and get whatever it is that I need. They're pretty large. They actually hold a lot of paper. I put my specialty papers in here as well. And I even put Dollar Tree placemats and the wallpaper. So again, everything has a home. Now, one type of container Amazon really seems to just have nailed down, and that is different types of acrylic or clear containers that you can put things into. So a lot of times these will be photo boxes or just large plastic storage bins, but I've also found some really nice acrylic ones. Some of them are the larger acrylic boxes that fit perfectly into these cubes. That way I can see everything that's in the storage container. But I do have some acrylic storage containers, and they were meant to be used in a refrigerator, but they work really well in a craft room too. They just weren't quite large enough, which is why I decided to get the acrylic bins that will actually fit into the cube so I can use all of that space. Now, as my craft room has evolved over the years, I don't throw away the bins that I had been using previously. They just get moved to different cubes or different areas in my craft room to be utilized in different ways. And I've also found some really nice smaller plastic bins on Amazon as well. Some of them are clear-ish and some of them are more of an opaque color. So they're like shoe boxes, but they're kind of a frosted color. And I find that these are really helpful to store things like my tumbling tower blocks, different wood projects, stamps that I might be using, and buttons. I love having everything put together neat and tidy so that when I'm getting ready to come into my craft room and utilize the space, I can quickly find what it is that I'm looking for. One thing I have not invested in yet is a label maker. This is something that I think I'm probably going to end up getting just because it would be really nice if I could mark all of my bins, like label them with something that says what's in the bin. That way when the bin is empty, I'll know what goes in there. Something else that I found on Amazon that I really like and it's really helpful are these little wooden shelves. So these are very similar to shelves that you can find at IKEA, and they fit really well onto my pegboard. So I made my pegboard a few years ago, and it's actually evolved and moved to different areas in my craft room. But the pegboard has now basically become my Cricut station. I do keep some tools up here, but I also keep a lot of paints and stains, glues, things like that that won't fit into the traditional areas of my craft room. And for me, it just works. So that was a whole bunch of different ways that you can utilize things from Amazon. Is that helpful? Have I given you some ideas of how you can make the most of the space in your craft room? There's so many different things that you can do, and you just have to be a little bit flexible and think outside of the box when it comes to creating storage in your craft room. Now, I know I'm super lucky that I have a dedicated space that I can do my crafts. If you don't have a space like this, there are smaller options that you can choose on Amazon, probably other places as well. But if you have a larger space that you're trying to organize and keep nice and tidy and give everything a home, I'm hoping that this will give you a lot of different ideas. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I think you should go check out my other craft room organization solutions. I have different DIY solutions that you can do for making storage in your craft room. And if you like this video, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And if you click the bell notification, you can choose how to get an alert when I have new videos coming out. I've got lots of different videos for you to watch right now and new videos coming out every week. I really appreciate you watching this video. So now go watch another one.